Welcome to the wild world of parenting in the digital age. Did you know that kids as young as 2 years old spend an average of 3 hours a day on screens? Shocking, right? By the time they reach age 8, that number jumps to nearly 7 hours. This means children today are exposed to technology more than ever before, often interacting with devices before they even learn to ride a bike. But with this increased screen time comes a whole new set of challenges. According to a recent study, about 60% of parents worry about their children's safety online, and 48% feel overwhelmed by the constant need to monitor their kids' digital activities. It's clear that parenting today isn't what it used to be. In this video, we will dive deep into why parenting in the digital age is harder than ever. We'll explore how screens impact childhood development, the hidden dangers lurking online, and the delicate balance of staying connected while protecting our kids. Plus, we'll share practical strategies to help you navigate this digital landscape with confidence. Get ready for an eye-opening journey into the challenges and triumphs of raising kids in a tech-savvy world. Chapter 1. Growing up screen first, the new norm of childhood. It's no secret that today's kids are growing up differently than we did. Screens are everywhere, and for many children, they're a daily part of life before they even turn 1. Studies show that, on average, children spend more than 7 hours a day on screens, according to the American Academy of Pediatrics. That's a massive shift compared to the childhoods of past generations, where outdoor play and face-to-face interactions were the norm. So, how does this affect their development? According to the TechWise Family by Andy Crouch, technology is in our lives not just as a tool, but as a way of life. Children who grow up screen first may develop different social and cognitive skills than their parents did. Face-to-face interactions help develop empathy, body language understanding, and emotional intelligence. But when those interactions happen through screens, those skills don't develop in the same way. One way to help balance this is to set clear screen-free zones and times. For example, make family meals screen-free so kids can practice real conversation. Research shows that children who have regular family dinners do better academically, have higher self-esteem, and are less likely to engage in risky behaviors. Another strategy is to introduce device-free days, where the family spends a day doing activities that don't involve screens. It's about creating moments where kids can experience life offline, giving them a healthier mix of digital and non-digital experiences. Chapter 2. Digital Danger Zones. The hidden threats lurking online. When we think of online dangers, we usually think of strangers. But today's online threats go beyond the obvious. Children are bombarded by targeted ads, micro-influencers, and algorithmic content that's sometimes inappropriate. A shocking 2019 study by Common Sense Media found that 45% of kids aged 10-12 have their own social media accounts, even though many platforms technically don't allow users under 13. The algorithms are designed to keep them hooked, often leading kids to content that's way too mature for their age. The key here is teaching children about digital literacy. Explain to kids how algorithms work in a simple way, so they understand that platforms often show them what's popular, not necessarily what's right. The goal isn't to make technology disappear, but to make it work for us, writes Anya Kamenetz in her book The Art of Screen Time. Show them examples, like how one video on YouTube can lead to another video on a completely unrelated topic. Set up parental controls on devices, but also talk to them about why you're doing it, so they understand the reason behind the restrictions. Another hidden threat is how much data is collected on them. Most kids aren't aware that every like and every scroll is recorded. It's a good idea to have a simple conversation about privacy. You could say, when we're online, websites and apps try to learn things about us, like what we like to watch or play. This builds awareness and helps them start thinking critically. Kids who understand the basics of data privacy are more likely to be careful with their digital footprints. Chapter 3. The Parental Paradox. Balancing connection with protection. One of the biggest challenges for parents today is finding the balance between staying connected to your child's digital life and giving them room to explore on their own. It's a tricky balance because being too strict can push kids to hide things, but being too relaxed can expose them to dangers. According to psychologist Jean Twenge, author of iGen, teens who spend more time on screens are more likely to experience mental health issues, including depression and anxiety. This makes the right balance essential for their mental well-being. A helpful strategy here is co-viewing and co-using digital spaces. Sit with your child while they use apps or watch videos, especially if they're young. This isn't about spying on them but rather being present to guide them. Research from the University of Michigan found that children are less likely to encounter inappropriate content when parents co-view or co-play. This approach helps kids learn to recognize what's okay and what isn't without you needing to restrict them too much. At the same time, giving them a little freedom is also important. You might try the 3-strike rule, where you let them have 3 chances if they make small mistakes online, like downloading an app without permission. After the 3rd strike, you can sit down and discuss what happened. This creates a system where they know there's a boundary but also feel they have a bit of independence. One useful tool is creating a family tech agreement. This can be as simple as writing down rules for screen time, bedtime with devices, and what's considered okay or off limits. Letting kids help create these rules can give them a sense of ownership, making them more likely to follow the rules. It's less about control and more about building trust. Ultimately, navigating digital parenting is about guiding rather than controlling. If you're finding this content helpful, consider subscribing for more insights on parenting in the digital age. Chapter 4. Virtual peer pressure. When influencers become role models these days, kids aren't just influenced by their friends, they're also influenced by people they've never even met. Social media influencers often have a big impact on young minds. A study by Morning Consult found that 72% of Gen Z teens follow influencers, and many say they trust them as much as they trust their friends. For a lot of kids, these online figures are role models, even if they don't know much about them beyond the screen. The tricky part is that influencers often promote an idealized version of life that isn't realistic. This can create pressure to look a certain way or own certain things. One strategy to combat this is to teach kids about, behind-the-scenes, reality. Sit down with them and watch a few influencer videos, then talk about all the work that likely goes into making each one. Explain how lighting, editing, and filters can make things look better than they are. Another good approach is to help them find positive role models online. Not all influencers promote unrealistic lifestyles. Some focus on education, kindness, and self-acceptance. In Under the Influence, author Joe Piazza suggests that parents guide their kids to content that inspires growth, not envy. Show them examples of creators who use their platform for good and encourage them to follow these positive figures instead. It's also a good idea to teach kids about the sponsored tag. Many kids don't realize that influencers are often paid to promote products, even when they don't mention it directly. Have a conversation about how advertisements work and why influencers might endorse certain things. You could say, just because someone we like uses a product doesn't mean it's the best thing for us. Chapter 5. Family time in the digital world. Quality time. Reimagined family time has changed a lot over the years. Instead of board games or outdoor adventures, screens are often part of the family routine. According to a survey by Common Sense Media, 42% of parents feel they spend too much time on screens, just like their kids. It can be hard to connect when everyone is focused on their devices. One way to bring back quality time is to make screen time more interactive. Instead of everyone watching their own shows or playing their own games, try co-viewing. Watch a movie or play a video game together as a family. Research from the University of Texas shows that co-viewing helps kids feel closer to their parents and reduces screen-related conflicts. Another idea is to schedule unplugged family activities, like a tech-free picnic or board game night. Having one regular day each week where everyone goes screen-free can help everyone reconnect. According to Dr. Catherine Steiner Adair, author of The Big Disconnect, families need unplugged time to develop a deeper sense of connection and trust. If going fully unplugged feels too difficult, try finding tech-positive activities that bring you together. For example, use an app to track steps or explore nature trails, and compete as a family. Or, take on a digital hobby together, like cooking from recipes on YouTube or learning new skills from online classes. These small shifts make screen time feel less isolating and more about bonding. Setting boundaries around screens also helps create quality time. Try setting no device zones in the house, like at the dinner table or in bedrooms. Data from the Family Dinner Project shows that families who eat dinner together regularly have stronger relationships. Creating moments free from digital distractions lets you focus on what really matters. Thank you for joining us on this journey through the challenges of parenting in the digital age. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to subscribe for more insights and tips on raising kids in a tech-driven world. Your support helps us bring you more valuable content.